Why do we go into situationships and how to heal from this pattern if you have it in your life? My name is Saskia Kalvinek and I am a sexual therapist, couples therapist, attachment style coach. Anything love, life, and relationships related will come to me. And I'll help people to discover their attachment style, work with it, and then find a partner that they actually want. Not what they think they need, but what we actually desire deeply in our hearts. So what is the difference between these two paradigms? Very often what we are needing, that we need this person to survive, we need this person to love us so that we can feel okay. That's the biggest difference between needing something and wanting something. If you're able to understand it and what are you needing from that person that is keep pushing you into that situationship, in that case you are able to pull back, give it to yourself, and then get someone that you actually want, not only need. So if we're coming from a deep perspective of being fulfilled within ourselves, we've done the inner work, we know ourselves and we know what's good for us, we will never go into a situation like that. For you to understand this concept better, I'm gonna bring up my personal story of a situationship that showed me so much about myself. So if you are able to say to yourself, all right, this relationship or situationship gave me so much trauma, at least see it in a positive sense, because when we are coming out of these situations, you are ready to process a big amount of energy in your body. By energy, I mean emotion, and that is all locked inside of our bodies. So in my situation, I think that was one of the most covered things that can happen to you when someone is portraying themselves as someone that wants to go into a relationship with you, and they already want to do all of these things with you that relationship entails, and they present themselves as this amazing person. So I'm assuming that it will be mostly for women, but for guys as well. I'm sure maybe some of you were also looked into a situation like that, and you really wanted that person. They didn't want you back, unfortunately, and they kept you at an arm's length. So this particular gentleman portrayed himself as this Mr. Nice Guy. Now I call this syndrome as Mr. Nice Guy. But previously, I just believed that, oh, he's just a nice person, he's just a good person. But being nice and being kind are two very different things, and quite often we perceive them as the same because the actions are very similar. They're not the same, but they're very similar. So someone might just be very nice to everyone. They want to give you all of that, and maybe even they want to be in that relationship with you, but they are not understanding just yet that they can't hold it. They can't make themselves who you need them to be at that time. And that's one of the most difficult situations, because sometimes someone might just tell you, look, I'm not looking for anything serious, or I just want us to be friends with benefits. That's very clear, right? So they don't want to attach at all. They give you that information. But what if they don't? What if they actually talking about commitment? They talking about kids. They talking about being together. They introduce you to people. So it's very confusing. It's getting into that game of are we or are we not? And even though you might be bringing things up, they are assuring you and like, oh yes, of course we are in that relationship, or I really want to be in one, but I'm just waiting and trying to get to know you better. That's okay, but then for how long can it go on? So it's due to you to create a timeline for this. So why do we go into things like that? It's subconscious wounds, it's problems with attachment style. So someone who has never been in a healthy relationship that you actually want, because quite often either we're going into very easy relationships that are not too emotional and we just settle, or we go into very toxic, very inflamed, amazing at the start relationships, and then they just blow up. So not to choose either of these options, to choose the rare bird of these options, is to find someone that will treat you with utmost respect, but you're also very much connected and very much attracted to each other. And that is possible only when you will heal your subconscious wounds from childhood. So majority of us have these. So feeling of when you're rejected, then those wounds are getting activated and we're thinking, am I good enough or am I not? You would need to start looking at your self-esteem. Are you loving yourself for exactly who you are, and developing yourself to be a better person? So it's not only that you accept yourself with everything that there is, but you acknowledge that, oh, I could do X, Y, and Z much better, and that's how I can improve overall for myself and for other people too. And that's a lovely way to start your inner work. In that case, when you're doing this and when you're performing the good and kind behaviors, then you're stopping being nice. So perhaps you're attracting the Mr. Nice Guy because you, in some ways, you were Mrs. Nice Guy too. Because perhaps you've performed some people pleasing, maybe you're not being honest with yourself, maybe you haven't healed from the previous relationship, which is one of the ways that we lie to ourselves if you haven't. And then you're trying to get into something completely new with these wounds. So if you are not being true and authentic, you will attract untrue and inauthentic people to your life. So perhaps finding these aspects of yourself and then healing them, understanding them, and then creating a new version of you that will be able to hold that relationship. Because again, you are not able to hold a healthy relationship, therefore you're getting people that don't want to commit. So how to heal that is just through physical work such as exercising, yoga, understanding your nutrition, and giving your body the chance to recalibrate and to get rid of the trauma. And of course, the mental work such as journaling, being good with friends and boundaries, making sure that you're looking after yourself mentally, listening to yourself, processing your emotions, sitting with them. Majority of us still need to sit with ourselves about 70% of the time if we could, because there's just so much of things inside of us, but instead we are very busy. Maybe we have other things to do. Maybe you already have kids. It can be difficult sometimes, but it's not impossible. So making it more feasible for yourself to listen to your emotional output more throughout the day is the best thing that you can do for you. So then when we have all of this done, understanding other people through your experience. So you might see along the way as you're developing and growing and processing your emotions and regulating your nervous system, what is it like when the system is not regulated? So if, let's say, you've had issues with gossiping and that really helped you to maybe make friendships, and then you stop it and you make a mindful change of like, I'm just not going to do it anymore. But then you see it in another person, right? And it's very visible for you. What are they doing? Why are they doing this? So in that way, when you go on a date and someone performs something like that, like a dysfunctional behavior that you've overcome already, it's an open book for you. So they might be lying, they might be deceiving. It doesn't matter what they want to do because you've already been there. You know what it looks like. And you're feeling them, you're feeling what they're doing. So you don't necessarily need to see everything because it might be a performance, but with your body you'll be able to sense that something is going wrong. If you can get to that point, then you are healed from going into situationships. So it's really not about it's really not about the people that you're dating. They are just messengers. If you change your internal output, you will attract a person that will mirror this output. So if you're a good person, if you work on yourself, you have good boundaries, that is the people that you will actually meet. But very often we think we have it figured out and we don't. So then welcoming these new lessons into your life and being kind to yourself, also being kind to that person that maybe hurt you, and understanding that that was just a message. There was just something for you to work on, and appreciate even the time that you've had together and all that pain that you went through. It really matters. If you're gonna blame them and shame yourself for being there, it's not going to lead you anywhere. So these are some of my best tips for stopping the pattern of getting into situationships. Follow me for more dating and relationship advice, or get one of my books, Up Ascension, which is really, really good for this particular topic, and Secrets of a Formidable Dater, how to create a different perspective and a different world in which you are dating, rather than complaining about the current dating culture, which, as we know, it can be quite rough, but I believe we create our own microcosmos, and the nicer it is around us, the better people want to come in, and the people that are not as developed, they will not want to join.